Good morning, welcome back to another video. I wanted to show you guys my monthly reset. These are the steps I take every single month to make sure that I'm setting myself up for success financially, relationally, spiritually, and just also preparing in a way that I can expect and anticipate everything as much as possible, including social events. So let's sit down together and go through my monthly reset. So this is genuinely something I do every single month. And here's kind of my little recipe. First of all, I look at my EveryDollar app. That's the Dave Ramsey app that he created. I don't pay for the membership, but I use it for tracking my monthly budget and planning in advance. I then do goal setting. I set around 4 goals a month, and then I also send it to Hills and Cam just so we're all aligned, and they also send theirs as well. It's so much fun because every single month we also say whether we did good or not, whether we fulfilled it or not, and then seeing where we can potentially incorporate new things. And then I also look at my Google Calendar for the month. I think it is so important for me to use a calendar. I've been using a calendar since high school probably because my mom was so into it, and it genuinely outlines everything, whether I'm hanging out with people, if I'm golfing, if people are visiting, if I have work stuff. And February is definitely going to be a month where work is very busy because things are kind of ramping up. There's photo, video shoots, all that good stuff. So I just want to make sure that I'm prepared, and I also set Ethan up for success too when things just get busy and life happens. I do use my Google Calendar the most. Ethan and I did buy this huge 2026 calendar mainly to track PTO because on Google you can't see the full year all at the same time. So what I liked about buying one of these is we can just lay it out and be like, okay, when do we need PTO coming up? We haven't necessarily used it to its fullest extent. We have 2 major trips because they're weddings this year. So that in itself, we're already anticipating a bunch of things. So we're trying our best to use our PTO wisely this year. And with me starting a new job, I just want to be mindful, of spreading things out evenly. So first, EveryDollar. So EveryDollar is an amazing app. Cameron got me onto it actually. I'm sure you've seen Dave Ramsey. He's everywhere on social media, but he has his own organization to help people budget their money better and pay off debt. So I start a new month. It basically just sums up all the different months at the top, and I can create a new one. And then I'll go in and put in my income, anything I'm expecting for the month. Sometimes you might get paid 3 times a month, so just adding that in there. My giving, my tithe to church, savings, housing, all of our mortgage, Wi-Fi, water, trash. Sometimes I have bills that are only quarterly. Because it creates an actual duplicate of your previous month, I also go back and make sure maybe I quoted myself too much for gas or something like that. So gas I feel was actually on the mark, so I'm gonna leave it at $110. Groceries, actually we landed under, I think. Actually, I quoted myself well for January. Going into restaurants, this is all of my eating out, social, dining budget. So let's see how I'm doing for January so far, and then how I can quote myself better for February. And if I already know I'm gonna have social events, I already can plan that in here, and I can kind of beef up the budget or beef anywhere up. Oh, wow, that's actually way lower than I thought. Okay, I think I can honestly decrease this. But let me just see socially if people are in town in February and stuff like that. I feel yeah, I think we're gonna probably have a bit of a laid back month again. Clothing, I never allocate money for clothing, but if I go thrifting, I just add that line item in. Fun money was kind of a lot this past month because I bought VGK tickets for Ethan and I. Gifts also kind of increased. There's a lot of January babies in my life actually. And in February, I feel it's the complete opposite. I think I only have my sister's birthday, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll decrease that budget as well. And then I also have a line item for sewing. Sewing gets so expensive, and I just like to anticipate that I'm gonna spend something on sewing. So I just put something small in there. So I did my February budget. and I am looking at my calendar at the same time, so I know exactly what to anticipate. So I think I'm good on that front. Honestly, I feel really, really good about that. I'll take you guys along my goal setting. So typically my goals align with my yearly goals. So in 2026, I came up with the word of the year and I like prayed on it and reflected on it. And then also I came up with like ins and outs and just different like actual tangible goals to kind of get me through the year and to guide me along that journey so it aligns with my word of the year. So I already know I have a bunch of different things I want to accomplish, and because it's February, it makes me also slightly like, oh, you know, the year's actually starting. For me, January is like, okay, we're getting warmed up. Now once it hits February, I'm like, oh, it's like actually happening, you know? So I'm gonna look at my goals for the year and then go into how I can maybe tackle or like take bits and pieces off in February. One of them being I haven't golfed in January at all, and I really want to get a birdie this year, and I can't not golf and want to get a birdie. So I'm gonna add in golf once, driving range twice, and that's for the whole month. There's 4 weekends in February, so I think that's super realistic. Then I'm in the middle of my first book. I'm not gonna put that as a goal though, because I am genuinely enjoying the book. It's not like I'm dreading to read it or anything. I pick it up naturally every single week, so I think that's fine. Oh, I do wanna sew 8 new things though in 2026. And right now, as it stands of January 29th, I did not sew my thing for January. So, well, technically I did sew something new because I sewed a gift. So technically I did fulfill the goal. I always like usually put a DIY goal on here because there's so many ideas I have. I kind of have to put it as a goal or else I'm just gonna forget about it and not do it. I just thought of something. Okay, got that one in. So I have a DIY goal and I have a golf goal. In February, I also do want to get started on my Alzheimer's fundraiser for 2026. I have an idea, I just didn't act on it yet, and I have to call a couple places to verify if this is even a good idea I want to proceed with. Okay, so I have 3 so far technically, because one's for the Alzheimer's Association fundraiser, one's for golfing, one's for sewing DIY. I just added a couple of things that I'm anticipating for work specifically. It's actually looking pretty busy. Okay, so since I have 3 of more consistent goals, I'll kind of reflect for the next couple days before February starts and think of something I want to add on here, because I know for a fact there's things that I've mentioned to Hales and Cam like throughout the month that I'm like, oh, that has to be a goal. I need to get better at that. And I think there was one that I remember telling Hales. So I think I'm going to remember it later or ask her if she might remember it, and we'll go from there. But I have 3 so far. And then let me recap January's goals. So in January, I wanted to start my journal. I have so many things that I've saved throughout 2025 that are little like junk pieces, like receipts and just memories, photos, all that good stuff. I have it separated and organized. I just did not buy a journal yet to actually put everything into. I can easily go and just pick up this weekend, so I don't think that's gonna be a huge lift. It's more of like literally Camille, just start it because you're collecting all this junk and I hate the clutter. And then I also have an engagement journal that Caitlin gave me for our engagement last year, and I never used it yet, but I've been saving a lot of stuff specifically for that journal as well. So I think it'd be really fun to tap into that. I also wanted to post once a week on my business account. So I have a freelance business and I have a separate Instagram account for it. I'm terrible at posting on there. I feel like I've done very well. I've only posted twice in January because I missed the first week. But I'm gonna work on something probably this morning and just turn it around to post this weekend. So really, it's not that big of a deal. It's more just to build up the consistency. I wanted to sew a plastic bag holder in January. Our under the sink area is horrid. I hate it. And so that's why I wanted to sew one. I ended up sewing a gift though first, because like in means of priority, I needed to sew that gift first. So technically I did sew something new because that gift was something new. I'm proud of that and I'm really excited for that. And then something I completed with Ethan was we got a new phone plan. We needed to get a new phone plan and just like combine our separate lines we had with our families. So we ended up doing that. And we're still kind of like working through getting the best deal, but we did the act of merging the lines, so we're good on that end. So I did accomplish that with Ethan. Something that I'm really enjoying right now is LinkedIn. I think it's so fun to share things that you know, just little insights and tidbits. And I keep a running list of ideas in my Google Tasks. So when you're on Gmail or your calendar, you can pull up this little icon for tasks. And what I do is I put all my goals in there. So whenever I pull up my account, I can see my goals and I can like check them off or just kind of do an inventory of how I can better integrate the goals into my month. Since I work on a computer, I always have my personal email up and I just naturally look at it every single day to remind myself, okay, when am I gonna get that done? Can I get it done this month? And just kind of asking myself those questions. And I also keep like recipes linked on here or things that I see throughout the day. So it's in a solid place. That's not my notes app, because my notes app gets so messy and I use it for different reasons than this task sheet. I love it. I actually put in little ideas. So that's kind of where I thought of like things for the Alzheimer's fundraiser, but I just have to start somewhere. I have ideas already. I use this for goals and then just generating any ideas I don't want to lose. I keep it here. In January, I also started a puzzle, which is just crazy news because I personally grew up not liking puzzles, but that was something fun I started in January. Also started playing soccer again for an indoor soccer league with some friends, and that started last week. So the second to last week in January. That was really fun. Ethan and I also ended up thinking, okay, you know, we're quality time people through and through, and we don't like to give per se. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna treat ourselves to the VGK game, and then in February, it's gonna be his turn to plan a date. It doesn't have to be as extravagant as like a concert or a sports game or anything like that, but just something that is out of the ordinary for us individually to do, and an activity or just something fun. So I do want us to get into the routine of planning like an intentional time set aside, because we're with each other obviously all the time, but not in a way that's like trying something new. So I think that would be really fun for 2026. And then my friends and I ended up going to play pool. Like we went to like a pool hall this month, which was really fun. And it's just an activity to do inside while it's so cold. And it got cold this month. Literally, it wasn't cold up until this point. So it's just fun to have an activity to do inside together, and I love it. So I did also end up trying a new cookie recipe. I'll link it below, and it's also on my Pinterest, but I tried an oatmeal chocolate chip cookie. It's really not anything groundbreaking, but it was really yummy. It came out thinner, but still soft on the inside. It was so good. I did get excited because last week I went thrifting. It was a $2.99 sale at Salvation Army, which the store associate said that's one of the best sales they have all year. And I actually believe it, because Salvation Army individually prices their items now. So even if you go for a 50% off sale, it's still expensive. You could still be spending $8 on a top. And I think it'd be really fun to produce a series on TikTok on how I thrift, because thrifting has been fundamentally like changed my shopping habits, and it's like how I shop now. Like, okay, I need to shop for a bachelorette in March, so I went to the dress section at Salvation Army. Like there's so many good things to find. So I really want to do a series on that. I think that'd be really fun. Maybe I can plan in February when I can do the second part of the series. I have no plan with this, honestly. I just think it'd be fun to kind of incorporate into my TikTok and my social media accounts, because it's just fun to me. Maybe I can go on a Saturday. I know Hales was wanting to go, so let me ask her when she's free in February and we can plan to go. And then I also want to see another friend in February, so I'm gonna also text her right now. I really want to get work figured out, so I just want to make sure that's in here before I commit to other things. With that, that's exactly how I monthly plan, and I literally just did it with you guys. So I think it's so important to have something that kind of gets you through and preps you for a new month. It's really easy that time just passes us by and we aren't taking control of what we can, and what we can control is how we use the time. So I think it's so important to set goals and to commit yourself to them and remind yourself always that you do have time to do things. There was this one specific Saturday in January, and I'm just gonna share it because this is a perfect example. I love to scroll. I love social media. It's my job. And so it's hard because I'm in this in-between of how people are like, oh, I cut social media out, or I decrease my screen time to X, Y, and Z. And I get in my head about that because I personally just cannot. Like, I need to be in the trends. I need to look at what is happening in pop culture and all these things, what's happening locally in Vegas. And so On Saturdays, I can get into this rabbit hole of just relaxing, and I'm just scrolling. And so that's why like the whole puzzle thing was super important, because it kind of gave me a stimulation while watching golf or something where I'm still consuming media that I love without just scrolling on a little screen all day. That's why I've integrated so many hobbies and like reading and sewing and just DIY stuff with journaling. There's other things that you can do that are still fun, and it's producing something that you are not doing on your typical day. And it just helps. Like, I wasn't on my phone all day, like on that specific day. And then at the end of the day, I treated myself by scrolling. And that was so fun. And I think that's just a sign that there is time in your day. You're just not using it the way you intend on using it to get all these hobbies and these goals done. So I really think that's something that I'm slowly learning and developing a better mindfulness around. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and then follow me on other social platforms. I have my Pinterest also linked down below because I'm obsessed with Pinterest. I now am posting everything I'm creating or outfits I'm wearing on Pinterest, and I'm trying to link everything as best as I can. Selfishly also for myself, because I love to try different recipes or try different sewing patterns that are free from newsletters, and they're all just jumbled in like space. So I link it all for myself, but also for you guys if you guys want to try any of the things that I'm making. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great month, and I hope you guys also plan a monthly reset too.